beginning of the build-out.
A pleasure. Thank you, sir.
For about 12 years, we operated on the Ocean City Boardwalk. Phenomenal town. It was the first real retail location where we really built a business around. Ever since that point, I've grown a business out of that city. I'm incredibly honored and excited to be able to build the new store that we're putting up on the Ocean City Boardwalk. What I'm even more excited about, though, in the process of doing that, is taking you along for the ride. I want you guys to be a part of the store build out, the negotiation, the leasing, the contractors, everything that it takes to be able to go from an idea to a business on the Ocean City Boardwalk. I want you to be part of that. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna take you over to the store so you guys get an idea of what this place looks like before we've even put a nail in the wall, before we've hung anything up, before we put up any slot wall or redid the floors or any of the stuff that you've come to know in our Wildwood store. So that's the next part of our YouTube channel. I want to take you through that process. I want you guys to get some insight on what it takes to be able to build a store like that. It's cold outside. Freezing, bro. It's like 20 to 30 degrees. All right, so what you're looking at now is Capswag 2.0 Ocean City. Look around. One thing you'll notice is we're blue. We're a little blue, all right? And because we're blue, it confines, it makes the space look a little smaller than what it really is. Obviously, that's gonna change. In addition to changing the walls and ripping out this slot wall, which I hate doing unless I have to, because the stuff is expensive. Slot wall is one of those things that's expensive and very fragile. It's like the worst kind of material to ever make something out of. It's heavy, it's expensive, and it's fragile. Each one of these panels costs about $50 without metal inserts per panel. So just put that into perspective for a second. With metal inserts, aluminum inserts, about $110 to $150 a piece. In addition to that, ripping these out, this is flooring. These are, don't let your eyes deceive you. This once was Persian carpets, all right? Things have changed. They are no longer Persian carpets, so they've gotta go. In addition to the carpeting, the walls, we're looking at the ceiling. I'm not a fan of drop ceiling, but when it comes to this kind of ceiling and what we have above it, it's important to know what you're working with instead of just tearing things down and not knowing how you're gonna put it back together. With regard to this ceiling, because of the height that we would gain from tearing this drop ceiling down, it doesn't make sense to bring it down. So I found a creative way to work around the height restriction, the height gain, and the fact that there's duct work above it, electrical work above it, and there's a mess up there. So instead of us dealing with that mess, we're gonna find a nice way to kind of work with what we have. Another thing that's pretty cool about the space that I like is that back wall that we have back there. I'm gonna actually push that back. Follow me. Check this out real quick. This back wall that we have back here is gonna be pushed back into our storage space, which I'll show you in a second. This whole space right here will be extended another 7 feet. And that door, I'm borrowing an idea from my buddy David, is gonna turn into a pocket door. So instead of having a door that swings and takes up valuable space within a store size this big, we're gonna have a pocket door because we're reframing the wall anyways. And that pocket door will come in and out, affording us the space that would take as storage in the back of it. So that's another gain. The other thing I want you to notice is look up. You got tonal colors in the lighting. Most people are not really thinking about that tonal color difference, but when you're trying to create an atmosphere and a vibe and a retail experience, it's important to understand that all these things play a part of it. The color of the walls, the size of the space, the height of the ceilings, the carpeting that you have or the flooring that you have, the tonal lighting. It's all important. The music that you play. it's something that most people don't really pay attention to, but they feel. So when you walk into a retail space and you feel a vibe, chances are somebody's thought to create that vibe for you. So we hope to do that in this space with the least amount of cost that we can. Another thing that you're going to notice is that the width of the store, it's about 15 feet. So normally what we have is a counter that we build out. So we're being very, very minimal and creative with the size of the space that we use. Instead of using a really, really wide counter space and a really, really long counter space to make this store look smaller, we're going to be using a counter size about maybe 20 feet, 24 feet max. So to put that into perspective for a second, the counter will probably start at about here. It'll come off 6 feet off this wall, and it'll go down about 24 feet. So it'll probably end at about here. With the addition of that 7 feet, this gives us a nice big space in the back of the store where people can actually move and kind of circulate the store, and that's kind of important. What you don't want to do in a small space is add too much fixtures and clutter it up. Because what happens is, from a distance, when you're looking at a store, people don't walk into a mess. When it's hot and it's busy and there's a lot going on, nobody wants to walk into an environment where they feel like they're being overloaded with fixtures in a condensed space. So that's kind of really important in the way that we design. One thing looking around, man, when you first walk into a space like this, in some of the projects, like some of my earlier projects, I would be overwhelmed. I mean, look around, man. There's like so much here. There's walls that need to be replaced. There's flooring that needs to be replaced. There's ceilings that need to be replaced. Don't look at the big picture. You got to look at it step by step. A guy that I know once told me that you eat the elephant one bite at a time. So instead of you looking at this job in its entirety and thinking to yourself, oh my God, what have I done to myself? I'm like, I'm completely screwed, man. Nah, you can't look at it that way. What you need to look at it is what needs to be done, what's the priority of things. Plan your attack step by step, and focus your attention on step A, B, C, D, E, F, G, up to Z. That's kind of how to do it. I bought this house once, and I rehabbed the house. And halfway through the house, I walked in. I walked into the house after picking my friend up from the airport, and I got a panic attack. I got a live panic attack because of the overwhelming amount of work that was required to get this job done. So whatever you're feeling in anxiety right now with the fact that this place is not done, or how long is it going to take, or am I going to be open on time, stop. Just focus on one step at a time. I mean, that's the best advice I can give anybody starting off. It is overwhelming. When you look around, you see everything that needs to be done that's not done, and you have a deadline to do, and you've spent all this money on inventory, on the store, on licensing, on the product, on employment. I think it's important to put things into perspective. You're here, which means you've already succeeded in saying and doing what you said you were going to do. You've already succeeded in that. So if you succeeded in that, what makes you think you're not going to succeed in building out the store? It's just a question of time and steps. So focus on step A. Step A is making sure you gut this place, get it clean, get it bare bone. Make sure you take everything apart that doesn't need to be here, so you have a clean canvas to work on. I think that's important. A lot of times you'll hear me talk about what we need to do, what needs to be done, and sometimes I forget how overwhelming the process of building a store is, how it was to me, and how it could be to somebody just starting off. So I wanted to say that I do understand that, and it's important that you put it into perspective for a second. You have already succeeded. It's just a question of following the steps and getting there. So I hope this video has been a help to you. I hope that you're able to gain from this and take away some real value from what you're doing. If you really, really like what we're doing, if you value us, please like, comment, and most of all, subscribe and be true to yourself. Keep moving. Keep hustling. Thank you.